Hi there, all my friends in northern New England. This one is for you. I'm Matt Noyce. Danielle and I are putting together our new venture called 1 Degree Outside. It's intended to bring you more weather and better weather than you find anywhere else, particularly focused on New England here at the outset. So hopefully you'll find this does exactly that. This particular video is going to be focused on northern New England, particularly the snow that'll be falling, and especially for those of you who love to ski and snowmobile and snowboard or get out and snowshoe and you haven't really had a chance to do that, right, too much over the winter. Now all of a sudden in spring, this is our third big dumping that's come on top of us. This is not necessarily unusual to get a decent amount of snow in spring, but it is a bit unusual to go the whole winter just dying to get these storms and all of a sudden have them produce everything in spring, which essentially has been what's been going on. Let's go ahead and take you to the forecast map. This is the forecast for, let's say, about 8 p.m. on Thursday evening. The storm center coming out of Boston Harbor, going into the Gulf of Maine. This is a great track for northern New England snow. It's a great track for heavy northern New England precipitation as well. It's not a great track for southern New England snow because the storm comes over portions of southern New England and brings warm air with it. The concern here is there's so much precipitation is going to come down with this thing as it comes into the Gulf of Maine. They actually may go all the way up to 3 inches of melted precipitation. Basically, if you took the snow, melted it down, that's what it may come out to. That is a lot of water content that's in the snow. What that means is there's a lot of snow loading going on, and that means that power outages are a significant concern for us from central and eastern New Hampshire, the Route 16 corridor, running all the way out through much of Maine. And this may be, for some of us, power outages that last on the order of days. And the reason that I say that is because just the sheer amount of snow load that goes on, plus you can see the gusty wind that'll be happening here on the north side of the storm along the Maine coastline. That's all going to put a lot of strain on the tree limbs, on the trees, and therefore, of course, on the power lines for that matter as well. So just be careful. I'll say that at the outset with generators, things like that. But if you're going to keep power or you're going to be in a place that keeps power, this is an amazing storm for winter sports. Let me go ahead and dive in. I want to show you how the whole thing evolves. Okay, so basically, this is I'm using the let me use the regular European model here. This is the European model that you hear about, etc. But this is actually a very European depiction of it right here from Medio Blue. But what we're doing is in areas that are in blue, that's precipitation, and then of course you've got the white showing the snow where it's rain turning to snow. This is at 8 p.m. Wednesday. You've got pockets of snow, but watch what happens as we go to, let's say, 11 p.m. Wednesday night, and then Thursday morning at 2 a.m., so overnight tonight, into Thursday morning. Look at that big broad area of snow, 5 a.m. on Thursday. Yep, some of that comes down certainly into the hills of central Mass, but really our focus here is going to be across all of ski country. Now, you'll notice that around Burlington, northwestern Vermont, we do get a little bit of a lull on Thursday morning. That actually does fill in, though, by 8 a.m. Thursday. This is 8 o'clock Thursday morning. You've got snow, heavy snow falling across the area. What's kind of interesting, too, is that as we get out to the late morning, you can see there's a big hole in the action. This is what we call downsloping. You know about this if you live in northern New England. The wind coming out of the east comes up over the White Mountains, cranks the snow on the eastern and southeastern slopes, and then kind of slopes down on the other side so that you get less in the way of snow around the Northeast Kingdom, the upper Connecticut River Valley. But what's interesting is that is at 11 a.m. on Thursday, right? There's more coming out of Burlington. Some of it kind of fills in. I want to switch over to the AI-corrected European. This is going to be artificial intelligence used to go back and look at previous patterns and say, now, wait a minute, something might be a little bit different here. In this particular instance, notice the snow has filled back in for your Thursday afternoon, and then Thursday evening, you do start to get some holes appearing again. The reason the AI is doing that is because when you get to the backside of the storm, if we go through, let's go to Thursday. This is Thursday evening. Okay, you've got the storm in the Gulf of Maine. It's a northerly wind that's coming down, and even a northwesterly wind a little bit on the backside of that storm. Cannon Mountain, that's an upslope flow. So it may be downsloping for a while during the storm, but there are signals that on the backside of the storm with a northerly northwesterly breeze, it may not be strong, but you may at least be able to extend the snow out into later Thursday evening. And actually, you'll even keep pockets of snow Thursday night into Friday morning. So in my technical discussion earlier and on social media, I've shared what we're going for. Danielle and I are going with a big area of 12 to 15 plus, a huge area of 15 plus that's over the Whites, that's over the Lakes region, particularly the northern lakes down to Lake Winnipesaukee, running all the way up through the mountains of Maine. I got to tell you, with the amount of precipitation coming down, if the April sun, because April sun through the clouds can at least decrease the rate at which snow accumulates, if it doesn't have as big of an impact during the day on Thursday, this whole 8 to 12 is going to end up in the 12 to 15 plus for that matter as well. So again, Not thinking that that's exceptionally likely because of the fact that April sunshine can have an impact, but worth noting, this is the European model snow. Obviously, I've referred to the European twice. I think in this storm, it has now latched on in a good way. This matches very closely what I just showed you. Big areas of 8 to 12. There's your stripe of 12 to 20 that's going up the greens. I actually have, you might have noticed, have another area though that's in across J. We've got 12 to 15 up there too, because you get a little bit of that enhancement on the backside of the storm. But if you switch to the AI corrected version of the European, look at the huge area 12 to 20. That goes all the way from Sunapee across all the mountains pretty much of New Hampshire and Maine. Big swath of 12 to 20. And actually, you don't see as much of that downslope, what we call shadow of less snow showing up. Because of some of that backside upslope that may happen on a northerly northwesterly wind. Of course, the question becomes, can you use the snow, right? Can you make good use of it? Of course, if the wind is howling and you've got chairlift holds or if the power's out, that becomes an issue. Now, look, the power out's going to depend on where that happens, right? And I wish I could predict that exactly. I can tell you that I think from Route 16 in eastern New Hampshire up through interior Maine is going to be one area certainly of really high concern. Frankly, right down to the coast of Maine, because the winds get strong at the coast. But let's keep focused on the mountains. Let's keep focused on winter sports. The winds actually, look at this. This is 2 p.m. Thursday. You're down to a 20 or 30 mile per hour gust up and down the greens, maybe 30 to 40 up around what, Camel's Hump or Mansfield. That's not bad. You're going to be able to ski on Thursday in Vermont and enjoy it. Now, the winds are still blowing all the way since 5 p.m. You still got gusts of 40 to 50 in the whites up through the mountains of Maine. But hold on a second. Let me go out. Let me go through Thursday night. Let's go into Friday morning. You ready? Here's Friday, 11 a.m. Up and down the greens, 10 to 15, 15 to 20 on gusts. All right? 15 to 20, maybe a little spot of 20 to 30, but mostly 15 to 20 in the whites. Mountains of Maine, 20 to 30. In other words, long as there's power, you're skiing on Friday. You got a great setup here. The wind is going to be fairly light. In terms of what the ambient temperature, what the feels like temperature is going to be, Thursday, if you are skiing in Vermont, it's going to feel like the 20s. It's going to be colder in the whites, teens. Same thing in the mountains of Maine. Makes sense. It's snowing, it's blowing. But you get into Friday, look at this. Up and down the greens feels like 25 to 30. Mountains of New Hampshire feels like the 20s. Maine, same exact deal. In terms of cloud cover, Friday, there's a lot of clouds. You can see this is cloud cover in percentage, about 100% cloud cover. But whatever. It's going to be great. Again, the only issue that I guess I would have would be the fact that if we do see power outages, things of that nature. But in terms of using the snow, you got great stuff for it. Just be careful if you're going to go sledding, meaning snowmobiling, right? Because the sleds have a lot of weight and the ice certainly has been compromised with the up and down of temperature that we've had across northern New England. We got pretty much a full melt out of the last event. Now you're putting the next one down, right? So it's not going to be safe for you. That's how things are looking for now. Have fun out there. Be safe out there. I hope you enjoy this kind of in-depth look at northern New England. And it's something that we can do a little bit more of now, not being held to a short TV weather broadcast. Thanks for checking in. Enjoy the storm.